Hi, this is Tim with RCNoob.com. Today I've got the Element RC Enduro Sendero ready to run truck on my bench. We're going to take a closer look at this vehicle, give it an overlook, fresh off the hobby shop shelf and into my hot little hands. I couldn't resist. I really wasn't sure if I was going to pick this vehicle up or not, but after seeing photos, pictures, talking to people that have driven this thing, it's gotten a lot of great feedback in the short time that it's been available. It's only been out now. This is the first week of July 2019. It's only been out for a short time, maybe 1-2 weeks. There have been some other folks that have had more time with this vehicle. Again, I've really been paying attention to how they've liked it and what their thoughts on this vehicle are. And after seeing all of that talk and all of that hype, I couldn't resist. I had to see what was up with Element RC. Now, if the Element RC brand doesn't ring a bell with you, that's fine. It's a new brand, but it's under the umbrella of Associated Electrics. And Associated Electrics is the parent company of Team Associated. Now, Team Associated has been around the world of RC for a long time, specifically around the world of racing. So they know a thing or two when it comes to performance. Now, Team Associated dabbled in the scale trail scene for maybe a year, 2 years at the most. But this is their first go around with a 1/10th scale vehicle. Their earlier releases were 1/12th scale, the CR12 models. This is a whole new ball game. It's under a whole new banner. Again, like I said, Element RC. They are making a huge splash. They're making a huge push. This is the first of 3 versions of this truck or this platform that you can buy. They also have a version that has batteries included. This version did not. And they also have a kit version. So again, if you want to create your own machine, you get the basic parts and pieces to create the chassis, and then you slap on your own wheels, tires, throw in your own motors, etc., and you make it how you want. But I was going for the best and quickest route to get up and rolling with this vehicle, so I went with the ready to run. And also, at the time of this recording, the kit is not yet available. That will be released later in July 2019. So, Element RC, what do you get when you open the box of the Sendero ready to run? You get everything that's in front of you right now. I will mention, now I did not do an unboxing this go around. I do want to mention though that the box on the inside, don't rip your box apart if you get one of these. They did a really cool thing where you have a diorama of a garage. So if you are into taking scale pictures and, you know, kind of setting up a diorama with your RC scale rigs, don't throw the box away right away. Don't destroy it. You know, open it nicely, and you have a really cool diorama or backdrop to, you know, really create some interesting looking photos. That said, here's everything that comes in the box. You get your Enduro Sendero ready to run truck. You get your 3-channel 2.4 gigahertz controller. Feels nice, a little lightweight, but you see there's plenty of dials, plenty of knobs, plenty of adjustment points for this truck, again, right out of the box. And I did say 3-channel. This does have a 3-channel receiver in it, so you can take full advantage of that right out of the box. What else do you get in the box? You get your spare parts bag. Now, if you run longer batteries, you're going to want to pay attention to what's in here, specifically this longer battery tray. There is a shorty pack battery tray that's pre-installed. I'm going to have to swap that out because I don't run shorties, at least not now. And you also get your instruction manual, decal sheets, and a bunch of other good stuff. And there is an instruction manual separately for the controller. Now, at first glance, there's really nothing that jumps out about this truck, at least the design of it. It's a very plain Jane looking vehicle, which ultimately, in my opinion, is fine. It gives you a lot of leeway with customizing. If you want to replace the body right out of the gate, you can do that. Or if you want to decal this thing up to match your style, you can do that. I do dig the overall design flavor that this body has. It's a mid-80s, early to mid-90s style truck. Kind of gives me some Dodge Ram, Dodge Dakota vibes. As a longtime Mopar fan, I'm digging that. Looking at the back side of the truck, you get a decent amount of bed drop, so you could put some scale accessories in here as long as you fasten them down. They shouldn't fall out too easily. Clear windows, you don't see that on a lot of ready-to-run vehicles, which again, always a nice little feature to see. Interesting design on the rock sliders, where they are kicked up at like a 45-degree angle, give or take a degree or two. I will point out the bumpers on this truck are huge, huge bumpers. And I've heard from people that have been driving this vehicle for a while, the bumpers may pose an issue when you are ascending or descending obstacles. So keep that in mind. The bumpers are huge, but they still look cool, and we're going to run this thing stock for a bit. Now, before we get under the body, I do want to point out one thing. If you look closely at the front axle, you're going to see something, well, something's not there, and that's the steering link. So what Element RC has done with this vehicle is they've put a behind the axle steering link. It's way back there. What that's going to do is it's going to increase your approach angle. You don't have that additional bar, that additional thing hanging out front to get caught up and hung up on things. And real quickly, before we get to the chassis, I do want to point out the tires got a very scale appearance to them. Licensed method plastic wheels. They are true beadlocks. Just a really nice looking tire and wheel combination. You don't see a lot of gold wheels nowadays. It looks really good on this truck. Now, here's the chassis of the Enduro Sendero. What's obvious right out of the gate is that this does not follow the trend that Traxxas and Red Cat Racing have taken to include inner fenders and really just fill out the blank spaces inside the chassis, which I've grown to like. I'll admit that. So what I do get out of this vehicle is big time SCX-10 Classic vibes. It looks a lot like my SCX-10 Classic. Steel frame, ladder frame chassis, suspension, easy to get to components, just well laid out. Does not have the motor up front. You see a lot of vehicles nowadays doing that. It keeps all the motor, gearbox, transmission, everything in the center of the vehicle. Front mounted battery tray, which again is going to help you keep as much weight up front and help you climb up and over objects. But here you do see it is that shorty pack, so I'm going to swap that up before I hit the trail. What else is notable about this? So I talked about the transmission. Interesting thing about the transmission is that you can adjust the rear drive ratio, and what that's going to do is it's going to help you on climbing. So you can have the rear wheels spinning at a different rotation than the fronts. And again, if you really are into extreme climbing and extreme trail conditions, that's going to play a big part in how this vehicle performs. Does have a brushed motor, looks very nice. I've heard it's very quiet. I'm looking forward to hearing that myself. Chassis mounted servo. See a lot of vehicles going to that nowadays. Does have some aluminum bodied or metal bodied shocks with adjustable rings. Again, those pretty much, you're seeing that a lot nowadays out of ready-to-run vehicles. It's starting to become the go-to or the standard. You also see something that's also becoming standard, and that's steel or aluminum links. These are, I believe, steel. Vehicle feels lightweight enough, not as light as other vehicles that I've held out of the box, but again, I think it's set up very well. I think it's set up to perform. Jumping back to the body for just a moment, because I forgot to point something out. It's a two-piece body design. You see it's held together by some screws and some little braces. If you want to run this with a back cage, you can do that. Proline has a back cage that you can get for this. I wouldn't be surprised if Element RC had their own cage that they would release at some point in time. So if you want to, or if you want to do a flatbed, you've got options for this body, again, right out of the box. It is a two-piece body design. So there you have it. This is the Enduro Sendero from Element RC, ready to run trail truck. I've got a freshly charged battery that I am anxiously waiting to plug into this truck. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this vehicle handles what it can do right out of the box. For more information on this truck, you can check out rcnoob.com. I've got articles, hop-ups, you name it. I'm going to be covering this vehicle quite a bit in the near future, so please go ahead and do that. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that as well. So until next time, this has been Tim with rcnoob.com. We'll talk with you later.